everybody. Welcome to Maximum Libertarian. Tonight, it could be a longer one than normal because usually we only have a couple topics to talk about. But it seemed like throughout the day, you were sending me something, I would send you something. It was back and forth. And so we've got, and I was hoping tonight was going to be more silliness in the world of professional wrestling. And we'll get started in a second. But before you do, wherever you're watching us, what do they do, Dean?
Smash that like button, give it a share. Just let people know about us. Let people know about the channel.
And if you can, please just go on there and, like I said, just go on there and follow us if you're on X or Rumble. We really would appreciate it. So here we go. First story up. Now, I just did it. This isn't important. I could have, because I think a few below are a little bit more important than the ones we got going on here. But, ladies and gentlemen, up front, Mick Foley is saying goodbye to the WWE in a post on Instagram. As you can see here, he said, parting ways with the WWE. While I have been concerned about the WWE's close relationship with Donald Trump for several months, especially in light of the administration's ongoing cruel and inhumane treatment of immigrants and pretty much anyone that looks like an immigrant, reading the president's incredible cruel comments in the wake of Rob Reiner's death is the final straw. I no longer wish to represent a company that coddles a man so seamlessly void of compassion as he marches our country towards, autocracy.
Yeah.
Last night, I informed the WWE Talent Relations I would not be making any appearances for the company as long as the man remains in office. Additionally, I will not be signing a new Legends deal when my current one expires in June. I love the WWE. I always will treasure my time with them, and I am deeply appreciative for all the opportunities they afforded me. But in the words of Popeye the Sailor, I stands all I can stand, and I can't stands no more. So, my friend Dean, what do you think about this issue here?
I think, first of all, it's too political anymore. Second off, what do I think needs to happen? I think Mick's a great guy, great wrestler, did a lot for wrestling. But I think he needs to go in Hell in a Cell with The Undertaker again and get thrown off the top of it. Get his brain scrambled again because that's just the way I feel about it.
Right. He's absolutely right.
He lost his mind.
He's absolutely right. I made a little thing yesterday about Trump. I mean, he could have used that time to. Rob Reiner said some nasty things about Trump. He even spread lies about like the Russian hoax and things of that nature. But they were not friends.
Nope.
I'll just tell the story one more time. There was a guy on the boat. He was not well liked. He had an accident. He fell into a manhole that had steam. He burnt off his. He was coming to do a weapons load on the boat. He fell into the manhole. So this hot water pretty much melts his long johns to his skin. He loses 9 of 10 toes. He was discharged from the Navy because he was completely jacked up. But we heard about it, and typically when you hear about someone, if someone don't like you, what do? You try to be compassionate towards the man or individual. And I remember we were doing training at the fire train. So there was like a fire on the ship.
Yeah.
And so we were walking back. We got to the pier. there was a guy named Evil Kenny. That was because there was two Kenny. So you had Diver Kenny, who was a diver, and you had Evil Kenny, who was like the evil Kenny, you know. And we said to him, we said, did you hear about, well, I didn't say it, but this other guy said, did you hear about Brown falling into the manhole, getting hurt? And Kenny said, he goes, you know, I would never wish that on a dog, but I still dislike the motherfucker. And he said, and at first I was like, oh my goodness, why did he say something as bad as that?
Exactly.
But in reality, why should he be said? What's he going to do? He didn't like him before he fell into the manhole. So now, since he fell into the manhole, he should start liking him. So I think if Trump would have said, like, look, I think it was really bad, I either don't say nothing or just say, I think what happened to him and his wife was very bad.
Yep.
Just, I still don't like him. And I think it could have gave him also to talk about mental health. And I think it could have gave him that opportunity to talk about the use of drugs. Like we have I know as libertarians, we're like, legalize all drugs. And that's what I say. Maybe you don't. But
I think it's, here's the thing on that last part, like to help people, sometimes that legalization thing would be the best thing in the world.
Absolutely.
Because it would allow for the medical system to get help for these people that are hooked on heroin, fentanyl, and all these other drugs that are really bad. And it would make it easier. It would make it easier for not have to go through loopholes that you have to now with all the schedules. And that goes into what we're going to probably talk about. One of the things I sent you about Trump actually going to lower the scheduling on.
Don't jump forward.
I know, but there's a little teaser there, but no, I think it's a good thing. Mental health. I mean, and the fact, this guy lost 9 of 10 toes. I can sit there and vouch with him. I know how that feels to not have toes. I don't have toes on either feet. And it does. I'm gonna tell you what. As much as I thought, as much as I'm strong and everything, from time to time, that'll get to you. That it'll mentally get to you. Like, I wish I had, could be fully back was, but you know what? You have to live with what you have and live by your means and do what you can do. Even if you lose that, I can walk, I can jog, I can still do a lot of things that most people can't, and that's how I feel about that.
Right, but I guess in the long run, he could have easily. I mean, when Evil Kenny said that, like, he did not try to change his opinion of Brown, and I thought, now it's like, because I knew a couple guys that I other worked with who talked, their cousin was gay, and they would say some very homophobic stuff, and he died in a car wreck. And then the next thing, oh, he was such a great guy. And I was like, what are you saying this about this guy? And that's what I'm thinking. It's like, if I don't like you, when you die, don't think I'm going to start crying. I mean, I don't mean I'm going to come and spit on your grave, but don't expect me to, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't expect it of you if you hated me or disliked me. Yeah. But I think Trump did fumble the ball there, and I wish he would have came out and said, like, talk about mental health and talk about if you use drugs, hey, you can go use them, but there's consequences, and you saw consequences come full, at a rage.
Something we didn't share was the weapons of mass destruction and labeling fentanyl as mass destruction. Absolutely.
And see, right there in his thing, he could have used the weapons of mass destruction, which that's a whole, which, look, after we get done talking, I guess the president will be addressing the nation and everybody. I've heard everything he was going to talk about, how great the country's been going, to talking about healthcare, to talking about war with Venezuela, which this is what the whole, in my personal opinion, he classified fentanyl as a war of mass destruction. So he can say, they're sending weapons of mass destruction from Venezuela. I think I just said war of mass destruction. But be here.
I think you hit that
on to just get inside of Venezuela.
But I do also think that ultimately getting it to the point where you don't get it, you get in major trouble for getting it here is not a bad thing. But yeah, I think that's done purposely.
Well, once again, I think if we went with legalization of all drugs, we can make up. But the problem is, what happens is Democrats will go, okay, we're going. It's just like in this state, we're going to legalize marijuana, but instead of doing it like intelligent people, they just turn it into the wild west, and they make the black market bigger. People don't want to go pay the high taxes because we're going to sell marijuana and we're going to pay for everything under the sun.
Exactly.
That's their silliness. But all right, real quick. Now we're still talking about wrestling here. Now, if you would have asked me the bingo card, what former professional wrestling manager would be feuding with a new independent journalist, Jack Posobiec? I would have never imagined that Jim Cornette, of the famed manager, and Jack Posobiec would be into a big feud here. Now, as you can see here, Jack Posobiec put up a video. Now, this is Jim Cornette saying, now let's go with Jim Cornette. My condolences, what was that? My conclusion is that he's smarter than your entire weirdo fascist cult and has principles. Imagine how damaged your brains must be to still believe the depth of depravity and bullshit you have. What's that? Minded or mixed?
Yes, mixed
yourself in. And he tagged Jack Posobiec. This video here, and I would play it, but Jack Posobiec put, "Hi, Jim Cornette, me again. Is this the real video of you dropping the M-bomb and going hard R over and over? Just checking since you go on all these lib shows these days." Jim Cornette is here just blasting the N-word.
And here's the thing. Jim Cornette, if you don't know who he is, if you're not a wrestling fan, look him up. But
now, once again, if you want to go Jack Posobiec and Jim Cornette feud on X, you can listen to it yourself.
Yep.
I don't know what this.
Jim Cornette.
I don't want to be blocked on YouTube. Almighty. Man.
Oh no, yeah, I'm just talking about if you don't know who they are as wrestlers, like or wrestling managers, go on over and learn of it. Jim Cornette was a manager for some of the best tag teams in professional wrestling. He carried around a tennis racket a lot of times. Really good guy. Like, yeah, I didn't see that coming.
No, I would have never imagined.
God rest Hulk Hogan's soul, but look what happened to Hulk Hogan when he, because he was involved with the RNC's thing to promote Trump, and then he goes to Los Angeles and gets booed out of the building, and the poor guy dies not that long later. But like, yeah, I mean, there's some crazy stuff out there. Politics is getting involved with everything, and it's kind of sad.
Now, Hollywood Hogan, that was when he was here, he was in the middle of a divorce. His friend videotapes him having sex with his wife for whatever reason, and then which I'm going to watch. There's a video from Bubba the Love Sponge called "Video Killed the Radio Star," and I'm going to actually watch it. It's on Apple and different places. But someone who worked for Bubba, took the video, released it, and that because Hogan said the N-word, he was never able to live it down.
But it was okay for Booker T to say the N-word, and he didn't really get too much heat for it.
This is where we get into that whole crazy situation of it's a word. I get how bad of a word it is.
It's a word I don't
really not taking it back because there's a guy where I work. He used to work there, and he went to when Hooters was in town. They went and had chicken wings or whatever for Christmas dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And while he was there, he used the bathroom on himself.
Oh,
So
geez.
he became known as, and this idiot, I don't know why, but he cut the underwear off and threw them behind the toilet at Hooters. So
I've seen some weird stuff where I worked, so where I was working, so don't. Yeah.
So his name was Doo-Doo. That was his name, was his nickname. He owned it. So you could call him Doo-Doo. Everyone could call him Doo-Doo, and they did call. I didn't see him, and I never called him Doo-Doo, but
I mean, in
you
turn,
take the word. So in turn, if I say it to him, he's not going, hey, he can say it, she can say it, but you can't say it. That's what level we're at,
Yep.
when it comes to that word. But Hulk Hogan said it, now Jim Cornette said it. And look, I like Jim Cornette. I think he's like, if I was to somehow fall into money and go, hey, I'm going to open up a promotion, he would be one of the guys that I got to come book or help with the thing. That's how much I like Jim Cornette.
Exactly. I agree. Yeah. Great. He's a great guy. Great manager. Great booker. I mean,
he's a better mind than some of the new. But in turn, I would look also as
the only other person that's any good, and God forbid he hasn't said the word yet, is Paul Heyman. Like, he's the only other current guy that I think is one of the best bookers, one of the best managers there is. He's done that for so many years. I love that man. I think man can make what do you call that? Chicken out of chicken shit.
Paul Heyman is very good, but
Jim Cornette can do the same thing.
Yes, Jim Cornette makes. Look at all the talent that came out of Smoky Mountain Wrestling that Jim Cornette ran. If it was Kane, Chris Jericho, Lance Storm,
brung the Undertaker back down there to help get.
There was so many people that he helped either cultivate. Or Brock Lesnar, he was pat his hands with Brock Lesnar, and you had with a lot of them guys from OVW.
Paul Heyman, I would say Paul Heyman and him are kind of like equal. How they can pull people and manage so many different great talent.
Right.
That's how good Jim is.
I think we've hit a spot where I think it's time. I would like to see. There has to be some smart younger guys, not guys that are in their 70s. Or late 60s. Not that I'm not trying to push them to the back, but I also would like to always, you always want to see the new generation come along and what are you going to do with the system? Besides get on the internet and tell everybody how fake it is and explain it. Matt Hardy, he might be retiring and he's saying that he wants to help book.
I'll tell you another thing. I saw a video talking about wrestling, and it shows the Hardys. It was Jeff Hardy, man. Jeff Hardy and Joe Hendry did a Creed cover. Man, I was impressed.
Oh, really?
I have to look it up. What's that? My Sacrifice. Look that up, man. I swear, you'd be impressed. If you've heard the regular song that Creed did, and you hear them do it, and they did it in the ring on TNA, I believe. It was an amazing cover. I knew Jeff Hardy could do it because Jeff Hardy was at Blue Ridge Rock Festival, so I know he can sing. But you mix him with Joe Hendry, and I'm like, man, they can start a whole new thing on a band.
Right. All right, so let's move on to the next story, Dean.
Yep.
There, that's exactly what we were talking about just earlier. I said I don't jump the gun. Here it is. Trump expected to sign an executive order moving cannabis classification from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. Now, what this does is it don't make it illegal. It just allows for easier for medical purposes, and also, people can test it and things to that nature. Hey, use it as what does it do here? Because that was one of the things I remember talking to one of the psychologists that used to come to the meetings before he moved to Tennessee, that the big thing was you can't test the effects of marijuana. Does it help? Does it not help? What's this? What's that?
Because it was
And
fun. It was
see some things right now where I just believe there's a lot of good things with it. I think it's like alcohol. If you abuse it, I think there can be problems to it. We're going to start seeing problems come out.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like what you were saying there, also, like the scheduling it lower is a good thing because it was scheduled equal with fentanyl, equal with heroin, equal with methamphetamines. It did not and does not need to be scheduled. I mean, like we all earlier, legalize it all, but this is a step in the right direction.
Absolutely, and I think it's about doing it now. Because it says here cannabis is classified in the same category as heroin and LSD under the Controlled Substance Act of 1970. Moving the drug from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 would ease regulatory hurdles and allow the Food and Drug Administration to study cannabis for medical purposes, potentially open it up for wider medical use by seniors, veterans, and other in the pharmaceutical in respect of state laws, irrespective
with recreation.
So in turn, but like right now, psilocybin from mushrooms helps people with PTSD. If it's a veteran, if it's a first responder, or someone who had some type of traumatic incident, we can't even really look at it. I know that they're slowly beginning to do it, but man, they should be. Rick Perry, former governor of Texas, is really pushing for this to get done. So I'm really happy. I think this would be like you said, I think it's a step in the right direction. The only thing that I would say is, the only thing that I would probably say is, I hope if they do it, just like legalizing all drugs, be smart about it, and let's not turn it in. Let's not help grow the black market. Keep it dangerous.
Well,
and let's not have this fantasy that we're going to tax it into. If we bring the racetrack here, off-track betting to Roanoke or whatever locality you live in, we'll be able to for our schools. Bring the lottery to Virginia, and it's going to pay for the schools. And then it's like schools are still sitting here going, we need more money. Well, wasn't the lottery supposed to bring this money?
But here's now I can talk on this a little bit. There is some, and I can't say names because of companies, but there is some companies that do give to veterans, that give to the right things, that are betting companies, that are casino-like companies. They give to the local where they're at. They give a lot of money towards good things. So not everything's bad when it comes to that, but I can't mention certain names. Kind of held to that, but I can say that certain companies actually do the right thing and help the funding, the taxes, giving to veterans, giving to the groups that need it. VFWs. I mean, you name it, they give to those, and there are some good companies that do that, but there's a lot of companies out there that bring that don't do jack with it.
Right. So, but yeah, I see here Dan Bongino has said he'll be resigning from his position at the FBI, second in command. So congratulations to his hard work, for what that's worth. Or you want to congratulate Dan Bongino? Okay. Yeah, but no, I hope
that have fun with it a little bit.
I do hope that this gets done, and let's see, what right here it says another possibility is a directive to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services to allow for reimbursements of CBD products under Medicare, according to the two sources familiar with the draft of the order. Now, I wondered, wasn't in that last bill that they just passed to reopen the government, what was that where it was that they were going to be banning hemp? Wasn't that was that correct? Let me look this up here.
I think they were going to do THC, not hemp. but that ain't gonna work either. So good luck.
See, hemp bans are. I'm going to look it up. This is coming from Google AI. Yes, a provision that effectively bans most intoxicating hemp products, which was included in the spending bill November 20th this year, November of 2025. The new law, specifically Section 781 of the Agricultural Appropriation, closes what many called a loophole in the 2018 Farm Bill, which unintentionally allowed a market of psychoactive hemp derivative products to flourish.
Which is what's that called? Synthetic marijuana, which actually just messes people up. So that needs to be banned. I don't like that stuff. I don't think that's good for people. That hurts people. Unlike the actual plant itself, where it helps people. So that's what that's about.
It's got a 1 year transition period before it becomes fully effective, November 12th of 2026.
So here's what's going to happen here in Virginia. It's going to be in all the marijuana is going to be in all the vape shops, smoke shops. You bet.
Right.
Bet your
That's what I wonder what's going to happen. Is that going to change? Well, these, because a lot of there's hemp stores or some of these CBD stores, if these products go away, then that's complete. Then they go out of business. But
not
if
exactly.
they just transfer right over to marijuana, or remember when marijuana, the medical marijuana locations was coming here in Virginia several years ago, and they were like, "Hey, you've got to put $50,000 in." And you might get a license or you might not, because we're only giving 4 licenses away or some nonsense like that. It was a scam. So, and then that's why up in New York City, there's like more legal or more illegal marijuana businesses than it is legal, because they've got this high standard of, hey, we're gonna strip you of all your money.
They've cracked down in Virginia on it. So, I mean, Youngkin cracked down on it and got a lot of people in trouble too. But they found a lot of other stuff in these places that shouldn't be there, that were very heavy drugs that shouldn't be in us.
Right.
Yeah, but the marijuana trade, actually being able to sell it in a location, gives the risk of getting anything mixed in away. So that's where the benefit will be there.
Right.
I don't know about you. I don't think you want fentanyl with your marijuana if you're smoking it. I don't think you want to die.
Right. So let's pull this up, and so hopefully this could all happen tomorrow. This executive order could happen tomorrow.
Absolutely. You might find it tonight when he's sitting there on TV. We don't know.
Well, that'd be kind of cool. Hey, let's legalize marijuana and go to war with Venezuela and take their oil. And
well, I don't agree with all that, but we are non-aggression party.
Yeah, well, come on. I mean, that's what I mean. Why not?
Now, do I think that we need to stop fentanyl from getting this country? Absolutely, that needs to stop. We need to find ways that not bombing people, but we need to find ways.
About stopping fentanyl, but the way that. But this is not about stopping fentanyl. This is about going to war with Venezuela.
Exactly.
I don't buy into it's a. Hey, Dean called me a name. I got to go over there and fight him. You didn't call what? Yeah, you called me a name, but it's just me giving me an excuse to come over to your house and punch you, or vice versa. You thought I called you a name.
Exactly.
Let's see what else. So, all right. So now the next big thing, because like we were talking about, they just signed that beautiful bill, reopened the government in November 2025. I think in January? Aren't we supposed to have another shutdown because they can't do their job? Thank God.
Yeah, but the thing is that the effects won't be as harsh on certain individuals. It won't be harsh on the military. It won't be harsh on SNAP benefits. Which we can go into that too, which is funny because Virginia just.
Because now, before we get into it, because I haven't looked into all of it, because from my understanding, in 2000, huh?
in Virginia, SNAP benefits as of next year will not allow soda. It's done.
Okay, well that's a whole nother story. But if in January, if we come to a thing and they're like, well, we don't have a budget,
they're gonna shut down again. Yep, same old, same old. Just it won't affect as many people. It won't hurt the country as bad, I guess, as this other one
why?
did.
I don't
Because
know.
troops will still get paid.
That's what they wrote. They wrote that this bill was for a whole year.
Correct. Federal workers won't be affected. And what's that? Federal workers, SNAP benefits and WIC benefits and things like that, Medicaid, Medicare, things like that are all safe for at least a year. So
all right, well, because we got an upcoming Senate race here in the state of Virginia, let's bring up our current senator. Let's share it real quick. And let's see, I'll unmute it. Tell me if you make it.
Balls.
What?
Which one? The one that has balls or the one that doesn't have balls to actually vote to reopen the government? Oh, this is the guy that doesn't have balls. That's right.
I don't like one of them, so
I don't like either one of them.
Your statement there. All right, let's hear what Mark Warner has to say.
Universal health care for all Americans. And then we can actually figure out how to bring costs down, because if all we do is expand coverage and contract coverage and spend all our time complaining about ACA tax credits, we don't get at the actual cost of healthcare, which means driving down the inefficiency, the PBMs. It means making sure that Americans don't pay 2 and 3 and 4 times more for their drugs than anybody else in the world. But you've got to start with a basic healthcare system and then go at cost as opposed to just arguing coverage. We have to start in this country where we have you.
All right, so there you go.
You want my comment on this real quick? I just want to blast it. He just is sticking his brown nose, his finger up the ass of his new leader of the Democratic Party, AOC. That's all he's doing right there.
I really enjoy the statement of, it's almost like you got to read the bill to know what's in the bill. You got to pass the bill, then we can. This is once again, hey, before we can figure out lowering costs and things of that nature, let's just get universal health care out there.
That's
cool. We're going to have this. So that to me was the key takeaway, was him saying, we just make universal health care, then we'll figure out how to pay for it.
No.
It's already, it's guaranteed to fail. It's guaranteed to kill the country. And this moron who said he was only going to run 2 terms is going to be
he's on 4.
High-fiving his idiot colleagues. And the right is no different than the left, because they're doing absolutely nothing. They are spineless, but these folks are killing the country. They won't actually fix the problem. That's why you should deregulate so much of the medical industry. Let's open it up. Let's have an actual free market healthcare. Because I know a guy right now who, and I know there's several people, I'm not saying everybody of these guys, but he would offer colloidal silver, vitamins, and things of that nature. And while the VA was telling this guy, hey, we want to cut your toe off because it's infected, he went to this guy. The guy told him, take colloidal silver and some medication. He said, I can't guarantee it's going to work, but this should help you. His toes went down. The VA saved the toe. The VA was just going to go straight to cut the toe off. All right. So in turn, we can't actually talk about, see, I'm having to tell you, I know a guy, he didn't say this, which he didn't. He never said he was going to save anything. But I can't tell you the truth. If you really needed an infection, my mom had an infection on the bottom of her foot. She needed a new hip. The guy said they were going to talk about slicing her foot off or half her foot off or whatever. So that guy saved her hip, saved her foot so she could get her hip.
Yep.
So, but in turn, because this moron anyone that votes for Mark Warner should not vote. They have no brain. I'm sorry, and I know that's not what I should say. I should be trying to be your buddy and pat you on the head and say, "Let me hear what you have to say, partner." No, when you sit there and try to take money and steal my rights, it ends. You know,
Yep.
and that same way with
all he's there for is
what's
to
that?
help. He's the universal healthcare thing. All that is a socialist communist agenda, which is where he wants, and the rest is those dumb ass, excuse my French, far left Democrats want to go.
Right.
So that's why we need to keep them out of. That's why we need to keep them out of office. And I'm not any Republicans ain't any better what they try to do, but they're definitely not as bad as socialists.
No, socialists bad, but because of the win in New York,
they're on a roll.
They think they're going to win. But well, who was it who made the comment? Socialist, everything with socialism works until they figure out you can't. Until someone runs out of they can't spend someone else's money or something. You know,
I
can't remember now. I just butchered that line. You know, but socialism is stupid. I know there's a lot of stuff that we do in this country that is socialist. I don't even know if that's the proper
both
word.
sides. I mean, there's some stuff that Trump's done to socialist.
Social security. The people need to actually stop being scared. I know it's not sexy. I know it's not something that people want to hear, but I think people should hear Social Security as a Ponzi scheme, which should be ended immediately. We should start figuring how, because there was a way. I did a video about it. I saw it. There is a plan to, like, if you're 50 and older, you're on the current system. If you're under 50, it turns into other things. Now, I'm not saying that it was the greatest plan I've ever seen. I think you could probably rework it and tool it up a ton. But I'm telling you right now, I think you could. We could fix Social Security.
Yep.
So, but I know what I'm going to do is we're not ending the podcast. We've got one more story to talk about. But like when I use this program, when I end it, I still have to go over to Rumble and end that stream over there. So what I want to do is we're going to save this last story. We're going to go over to our Rumble channel and talk about it real quick because we've been going right now 38 minutes?
I'm seeing 38:05, correct.
Okay, yeah. So we're good. And so what we're going to do is let's jump over to Rumble. So don't go away. And but if you got a Rumble channel, come over to Maximum Libertarian, and you'll be able to see us there. And because what I want to do here, I want to just test to see, does it keep running on?
Exactly.
Does it keep running on Rumble when we say, "Hey, good night, everybody"? So give me a second. We're going to end this thing, or we're going to be over on Rumble, I believe. So if please follow us, subscribe to the channel.
Smash the like button.
Yeah, smash the like button. Do all that good stuff. And, until next time, I'm Brian. That's Dean. And we will see you later. Or we'll see you over on Rumble.
So come over Rumble. Let's get ready to rumble.